Please welcome Richard Britell.
We're ready?
We're ready.
Sorry?
Yeah, we're going.
A few months ago, my sister introduced me to a website called Pintrest.
Microphone.
Can we start again?
No.
This is my first pin on Pinterest, if you know the website. It's an imaginary trip that I'm describing, and it started by accident. This is my second pin, in which I say that this is myself stopping on my trip to have lunch. This is a famous 1940 photograph. I didn't know what I was going to do with this. It just happened entirely by accident that I started pinning pins and writing things underneath them. This is my third pin. This is how Pinterest works. You come across some strange image and you put it on your board. A stork tries to force a baby on a woman who drives the stork away with an umbrella. I put this on my board and I said, I was having lunch and these ducks were making a racket. This is my favorite book in the world. And so I pinned this, and then I said, these ducks are arguing about this book. They hate this book because it makes them look stupid. Now this duck becomes a part of my story. The duck gets out his iPad, and he shows this picture, and he says, this picture is of the Roman Empire where we ducks saved the Roman Empire while the dogs slept. And he says that the Romans had a special holiday for us and they crucified the dogs. Then the dog gets out his iPad and he says, this is the dog who nursed Romulus and Remus. We were the most famous people in Rome. And the duck says, I got to get out of this town. The duck says to me, can I go with you? I said to the duck, get in the car and we'll just go on a trip. You can join me on my trip around southern France. So I added a duck to my car. The car has changed, but that's Pinterest. I explained my plan to the duck. I'm going to search out obscure Roman ruins and artifacts and coat them with acrylic resin, cast them in plaster, and sell them on Etsy and eBay. The duck thought my idea was worse than stupid. He thought it was pathetic. People have been selling that crap for years in Rome. You would just be recirculating other people's art. Why not create something for yourself instead of stealing dead people's ideas? The duck was brutal. Did you ever have a friend that demolished your ideas at the onset and yet you're drawn to them? Pin 293. The face you see in the mirror every day is reversed, so you never notice it. And when you see someone you know reflected in the mirror, you would never notice the faces in reverse unless they have a license plate nailed on their head. The duck was doing the pictures. Then we picked up Uboni, and they have been doing the pictures together. Now take a look and see what they have been putting crazy images on my thing. I'm telling you, look up there. What is Stalin doing in my story? This is the lowest point of the old art historian's life. I'm dying now, he said, and I'm going to die of the wrong disease. It turns out I do not have disease du jour. All right, then, he continued, let's go out to the car and I will die in the back seat under the packing blanket like the grandmother in the Grapes of Wrath. This is his lifeline. You can see it stops right here and it starts again further down. It goes in a different direction. Well, he is in the middle here between one life and another. And if he doesn't get to a new life, he will have to find a new occupation. This is common with these old geezers who get fired. The warmth of the old woman's hand seemed to rouse old Bibbioni out of his stupor, and he sat up a little and started to mumble, why did Michelangelo put tits on the sculpture of day and night? That's what I want to know. How was an old art historian to explain those tits? Perhaps the shock of the Protestant Reformation had on the Catholic Church caused him to put the tits on those figures. But how is one to flesh out that idea and make it understandable? Pleadingly, he asked Aunt Jemima these questions in his delirium. Artists in hell. In those museums, their works are never shown, but only the works of their rivals. Warhol has to look at Pollock retrospectives. Franz Klein and Jules Olitsky meet Mark Rothko and Gorky and spend the day admiring the works of Norman Rockwell. If they complain, they look at Thomas Kincaid. Old Picasso in the basement of the Prado must stay until he agrees to look at the works of Goya. The only things on the wall in Madrid, he admits he likes the disasters of war, but he only wishes his Guernica image would not be used on the placemats in the cafeteria. Michelangelo, Raphael are in hell along with Bernini, and the three of them have to curate exhibits of parochial school students' paintings of the Pope. They have looked at 15 million slides, and the best picture gets a blue ribbon. Eternity will go by, and they will never get there. You would think that I would have hit on the idea of being an artist if I had remarkable color acuity, but I did not come from a family in which ideas of being an artist ever came up. If it did, it would have been greeted with derision. The Great Depression was not a time that made parents long for their children to be artists. If my poor mother could have known how I would turn out, she would be very confused. There is hardly a thing I have done in my adult life that would have made any sense to her.